My name is Margaret Ann Windsor. I have to use the name Peggy Ann Childers. I've put all this on so many videos, and I hope that this is coming to a close for the better. I'm 76 years old. I was kidnapped and brought to Bolton, Alabama in 1941. I was born in 39. And I'm going to show a few things and try to get it up on this video. This is Scott Hill Retirements in Clifton Forge. And before I go any further, I wanted to say that I've written about mind control murders, and I've tried to tell about, I have an illness, it's immune disorder. And when I'm in closed area, that's close, and toxic fumes are deliberately used, and they were, and they make me move. There's no cure for it. Your immune system attacks itself if I'm around the toxic fumes, and I get really sick. It causes, over a period of time, if you're around them, causes your heart it causes all your body organs to be very damaged, kidneys, lungs, you name it. Before the agency doing it, I wrote a book about mind control, 76 till April Fool's Day of 80. I had antifreeze put in me. The book was about mind control murders way back then, and the mechanism used to do them. And I got a letter from the U.S. Attorney, Harper, out of Atlanta, saying it was dated June the 23rd of 79. The antifreeze was put in me April Fool's Day of 80. A joke. This whole thing is a joke because they could kidnap me and get away with it. But anyway, the letter said national security involved, ongoing investigation. So now I'm not going to put all that up. I have put how one of the Virginia State Troopers retired, and I put this on. I'm not going to put his name again. Had no intention of hurting him by telling his name. His wife told me that this is how we move you using chemicals. Well, I knew that, but my word's been made no good. The law enforcement's involved, but most of all, it's the people. The people who have allowed it to happen and who have gone along with it. Everybody has something to hide. So the law enforcement got things on people that were committing crimes, and to not prosecute them, they had to go along with what the police did to me, or the law enforcement. Let me say that, the agency way up. I may not be alive if it hadn't been for the agency that's doing this. That's as far as I'm going to go. But in it, I've tried to tell about the patterns that were used, because mind control doesn't show those murders. It's invisible, so it doesn't show up on an autopsy. And it's one of the reasons I believe that Warren and Rosina Matthews out of Atlanta were murdered. Well, Cobb County, Marietta. And I wrote about them. Larry McDonald, congressman, doctor at Piedmont, that's where Warren and Rosina Matthews were, and they were murdered because they knew how deaths were made to appear of natural cause. This goes back to the Tester files. I was writing about it when Larry Flint was shot. And he flew me out there in when Larry McDonald, the doctor congressman, the plane he was on went down August the 31st, passenger plane of 83. And he endorsed me, and he said to me when I first met him, and he flew me out there October of 83, he said, "You don't have to say anything to me. I know everything there is to know." He said, "I know they were going to send you back a vegetable." I didn't know what he meant at that time because I didn't remember my kidnapping. I grew up being called Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married a Childers. And Peggy and Carl, so the feminine of Carl would be Carla. Could be. But both of them had been murdered by their mother line, and I've put all these pictures and photos up there in the past, so I am trying to get it on this one video so you can grasp it. Okay, it involves timeline because these murders, I'm talking about the Virginia Tech, going back to Wayne Williams out of Atlanta, the recent mass shootings, and you don't have to have a gun to do it. You can take a butcher knife. You can place a person under mind control, and you can do this mass, like in mass armies, and they don't even know it. They're programmed. It's gone that far. And nobody wants to touch it. They just want me shut up. But the Virginia Tech, and here is, this is a Fort Hood shooter, and he's a psychiatrist, and he finished school at Virginia Tech. He was born in Roanoke, Vinton, and he got his MD degree somewhere else. But this is one of them, the James Holmes. And I wanted to get this one. Oh, yeah, and I wanted to get this one in. There's lists and lists of them. But these were done in patterns, a whole bunch of them. Jens Orings was a diplomat's son at the time. He and Nancy Haysom were students at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville. That's where Anastasia, who's a cousin of mine, was taken and murdered, quite frankly, and she was Anastasia. But there's been a long list of murders that's happened since then, and I want to get through this. They are in prison. He's at Buckingham State, Virginia, or was prison, and she's in prison, used to be at Goochland, for killing her parents, Nancy and Jared Haysom, in Bedford County Court. It was prosecuted. I'm not going to go any further on that. There's programming involved and the patterns. That some of these patterns they were done deliberately and can totally be proven. And that's what I'm coming to. My father, I found out after I left Mr. Flint's, is Edward VIII. He never married Wallace Simpson. An imposter did, and this is going to go out, and I can't do another one. So that whole thing, the abdication, was a lie, and Elizabeth's illegal, the treaties, and I'm Victoria II. My father, legal heir, my father was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, and this is what I have to say. These patterns included a timeline, like I tried to tell people. One of the mass murders was Congressman Gabby Gifford, married to twins, Mark Kelly, and his brother twin was Scott Kelly. They're both astronauts. And this is my sons Mark and Scott and me, an old photo. And this where I just left should be the end of it, if there's going to be any good and into it. And while I was there, just before I left, they used the same thing on me, only to make me run. It was black mold, and I got plenty of photos, but they can still do it to me, tie me to the lease and make me look bad, take every penny I have. I'm going to close out by saying, because it's going off, that Waffle, and that's all I'm going to say, was a man, a policeman in Clifton Forge, and he died of complications. This was a mind control murder. You can cure an illness, make it appear of natural cause, or you can program people any way they want to. I'm not going to give his last name. It was Waffle, and this is where I've lived. I tried to take a picture of the Waffle House here, and I've been here before and had to come back. I left because I was so sick out there. And the mole, they deliberately had me out there because of the name Scott. And I guess there were some more things I wanted to say. I wanted to mention this if I can get it on. When I was driving a Flint car, he furnished me. I was up in Grottoes pumping gas to make a living. And Noe, an agent, came in many times, and he said to me, he was an FBI agent, supposed to be retired. He said, they've made it so ludicrous. People know you're telling the truth, and it gives them a chance to help you, but they walk away and pretend it, well, in other words, they've called me every name in the book. So he told the truth about it, and this is going off. But they said, I'm not going to give the names that were out at the Scott Hill. You should get them, because how you can get that many people together with certain names means that this goes